Do you remember last year I did a video on impeach? Go for it. Well, the Democrats, they went for it. Speaker of the House Pelosi said that they're going to go into official impeachment proceedings of President Trump. And this is a time not to be nervous if you're a Trump fan like I am, but it's actually a time to be extremely excited. And we're going to talk about that right now. Hi, my name is Kyle. Welcome to my channel where we take culture, TV, and movies and we filter it right. If this is your first time here, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button and that bell icon so that you don't miss any future content. Now, I have an article here that I'm going to go over. It's by Michael Goodwin of the New York Post, and he talks about here, Pelosi's impeachment flip-flop changes everything. And I'm going to go over this article and share it with you. A lot of the things in the video that I mentioned before in the monologue that are going to be in this, but he kind of goes into the whole thing, kit and caboodle. I'm not going to read the whole article, but I'm going to go over the highlights, and I want you to check it out. I'll leave a link below on that, but again, there's absolutely no chance that Trump's going to be impeached, but it's going to be a bumpy ride along the way. So if you are squeamish in politics, I would say take a break, chill out, do something else for the next few months because it's going to get nasty. All right, so let's get started here. It says here that for months, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi warned itchy Democrats against the perils of impeachment. She should have stuck to her guns. She should have. In surrendering to the radicals and the noisy drumbeat of the media handmaidens, Pelosi established a formal investigative process involving the top legislative committees. Yet, she did something else too. Something far more monumental. She effectively committed the House Dems to impeaching President Trump. Okay, so this is historic. Okay, so basically what he's saying here essentially is that the Democrats have been hijacked by the radical base. I said this back in 2018, that they have to go off this loud, noisy base that just can't get over the fact that Trump won. They still have this derangement syndrome where they just cannot wake up every day without thinking about getting rid of this president. And so, but Pelosi is a smart person. She understands that that's not a winning ticket going forward. They should have put forth a candidate that could actually beat Trump, and that way they can maybe just go off that and hopefully beat him fair and square. But obviously they don't have that either. And so, and because of her doing this, it says here, if the House doesn't go all the way, it will be a political disaster. It will, because now they're selling out. They're going all in on this. Either failing to take a vote on articles of impeachment or failing to get enough votes among their majority to pass any articles would be seen as a political exoneration for Trump, likely leading to his reelection. I would say either way, this can be likely for his election because this is not something that people are really wanting to do. He has a 51% approval rating today. Rasmussen's daily tracking poll had that. And it says here, if it weren't risky enough, consider another scenario. If the House Dems do impeach Trump on grounds that much of the public sees as flimsy and concocted, they could win the battle and lose the war. Indeed, no matter what the House does, there's a next to zero chance the GOP-controlled Senate would convict the president absent clear and convincing high crimes and misdemeanors. All right, so it says here that Pelosi also knew since January that she became speaker, in which she kept resisting the impeachers, but her surrender proved again that her party can't quit 2016. Like generals fighting the last war, she and they are now committed to taking their sore loser grievances to the 2020 voters. And that's how this is being seen. The overwhelming majority of people in America do not want to impeach this president. When you're on a boat in a raft and you're in the middle of the ocean, do you rock the boat to see if it's going to hold you, or you just sit still and hope someone comes rescue you? Do you just stay in the boat and, whatever? These people are rocking the boat and they're in the middle of a hurricane, and the only thing saving them is this small boat, and yet they're still continuing to rock it because they just don't have any other common sense, it sounds like. But again, the hatred for President Trump is the main factor for all this. You have a radical base that has been slowly infusing themselves into the Democrat Party. Pelosi and these people like Schumer and those guys have been baiting this radical base for years. And when they finally came in, like parasites, they took over, and now they're the loudest faction. You have the ALC squad, right? That's a perfect example of that. But it goes on deeper. The Democrats have embedded themselves so strongly into this particular group that now they can't control them. If you watch Game of Thrones, it's kind of like the White Walkers, right? They brought in to do one thing, but then they got too big, and now they can't control them. That's what's going on right now with the Democrat Party. The radical base is taking over. And it says that although Pelosi stopped short of creating a select panel and reporting has no plans to call for a formal House vote, the Speaker claims that Trump seriously violated the Constitution and betrayed the oath of office, and a conversation with Ukraine's president leaves no wiggle room for her. If she believes those charges, how can she not advocate for the president's removal? See what I'm saying? So what's really interesting here is that the Democrats have really pinned themselves in. It says while they might agree, this is why they have to move the goalpost and now also demand the complaint from a so-called whistleblower that initially set Washington's hair on fire. Reports that the complainer had no direct access to the call raises questions of credibility. Now today, the White House released the transcripts of this particular conversation. What Trump did was he basically, I haven't read them yet, but he basically asked the president or the representative for the Ukraine to launch an investigation on Joe Biden and his son. There were some kickbacks there and so forth. And so I'll leave a link to some of those articles there, but there's some stuff right now that Joe Biden doesn't want to be involved with. His son doesn't want to be involved with. And so Trump advocated that being investigated. So that's the question now. Did he violate the Constitution on that? Or is Joe Biden someone who needs to be held accountable and the son held accountable for the said crimes of what they're trying to convict President Trump over? And so, in short, Pelosi just changed everything. The next election is going to be about impeachment. It says, if you think America is polarized today, you ain't seen nothing yet. And you ain't right. You are right. In fact, like I said before, if you are squeamish, you need to just chill and not be involved at all. It says that Pelosi caved in because of the mounting pressure within her party and because the New York Times, the Washington Post, and a handful of television gas bags demanded that she act over the president's reportedly said in July conversation with Ukraine's new president, Vladimir Zelensky. Trump admits he asked Zelensky to investigate Joe Biden and his son, Hunter, over whether the then vice president took any action to protect his son from corruption probe. It says that Hunter Biden was paid $50,000 salary by an energy company that was at one time the focus of a corruption inquiry. Reports have said that Biden used his VP position to demand that the inquiry be dropped and the prosecutor involved fired, or America would withhold aid. There's actually an interview with him. I will put a post on that as well, where he actually admits this. I'll put a link there as well. So put it this way. Would Hunter have gotten the job if his father were not vice president? Ditto for sweetheart investment deal Hunter Biden got from the Chinese government. On at least one occasion, he reportedly flew with his father on Air Force Two to China to seal a lucrative agreement there. This doesn't pass the smell test, and Biden could get knocked down and even out as events unfold. Count that possibility as another sign that, based on what we know, Pelosi is making a high-risk, low-reward bet. And, that is what we're seeing. And I am of the notion at this point here to say this, is that the Democrats really, really are in a seriously dangerous position here. And I don't know how they're going to get out of it. When they won the election in 2018, I said, you know what? They're going to probably go for impeachment. But if they're smart, they wouldn't. If they're smart, they would just put up a candidate that's going to be good enough to win. Trump won the election because of Wisconsin, because of Pennsylvania, because of Michigan, because he held on to Arizona, because he won North Carolina. And I think at this point in time that if they could have got a candidate that could win Georgia, that would have put the presidency in jeopardy, because that was a key state for the Democrats to pick up, but they didn't do that. And so now we're here. Now we're in a situation now where it's all about impeachment. The poor candidates now who are running for president, they complain all the time that, well, Trump takes out all the oxygen in the room. Well, guess what? Now this impeachment proceeding and President Trump are going to continue to take all the oxygen out of every single campaign going forward. And the more people hear about it, the more they're going to be angry about it. And the backlash is going to be tremendous. Do you think that the monster vote showed up in 2016? You haven't seen anything. In 2020, it's going to be a massive pro-Trump turnout. I mean, not only is the MAGA base going to turn out, but the people who were convinced through the just the process of the past 2 years with the economy, they're going to be convinced to come out, and the minorities are going to be convinced to come out. You're turning Trump into a martyr. You're turning him into a sympathetic character. And so that's one thing you do not want to do. And so that's where we are now. The president will not be impeached, but this could be the very beginnings of the ending of the Democrat Party as we know it. If this shakes out the way I think it could in 2020, by 2024, we'll have a split Democrat Party that will be relegated to obscurity. It's going to take them about 15 years to recover from something like that, but it's going to be a long time coming. So that's one thing that's going to happen. If you like the content on this channel where we take culture, TV, and movies and we filter it right, please hit that like and subscribe button and the bell icon, because YouTube changes their algorithm. And so if you don't hit that bell icon, you don't get the notifications. And also, please like and share with your friends too. The videos I have here, hopefully those will help you to understand what this channel is all about. And I hope that you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys next time.